Hello, Class 7. We are on the fourth chapter of your textbook, and the chapter is titled as The Ashes That Made Trees Bloom. How can ashes make trees bloom? Well, this is a story that you will enjoy reading. Let us study this. And before we read, there is a bit of an introduction given here. This is a story about an honest and hard-working old couple and their pet dog. The neighbors are troublesome, and the dog dies a sad death. It's about an old couple, an old man and an old woman. They were very honest and hardworking, and they had a pet dog. But their neighbors were very troublesome, gave them trouble, and they were wicked people rather. And the dog dies a very sad death. The spirit of the dog gives solace and support to their master in unexpected ways. But the spirit of the dogs gives solace. Gives solace means gives them peace, and also supports them in very strange ways. Well, let us see what the story tells us. The ashes that made trees bloom. In the good old days of the daimyos, there lived an old couple whose only pet was a little dog. So daimyos, here the word daimyos means that in the 19th century in Japan, wealthy landowners lived. So they controlled the lives of the people. They were very rich. They were landowners, and everybody else worked on their land, and they paid the people, and they were treated as gods. They had their own army, like we had little kings in India. These were the daimyos who ruled that area, and they were very wealthy landowners. So in those days there was an old couple, and they had a pet dog. Having no children, they loved it as though it were a baby. So they loved their dog very much, as if it were a little baby. The old dame made it a cushion of blue crepe, and at mealtime Muko, for that was its name, would sit on it as snug as any cat. So the old dame, that is the old woman, she made a cushion of blue crepe, and the dog Muko would sit at mealtime and sit there like a little snug cat. Snug here means comfortable, would make itself, the dog would make itself comfortable there, and like a little cat it would sit there on that wonderful blue cushion. The kind people fed the pet with tidbits of fish from their own chopsticks, and all the boiled rice it wanted. So they ate with their chopsticks, and they fed the dog with the same chopsticks. Little tidbits of fish, little bits of fish. Tidbits means very little portions, or little bits of fish from their own chopsticks. And then the boiled rice, and all the boiled rice, and a lot of boiled rice, whatever he wanted, he gave the dog. Thus treated, the dumb creature loved its protectors like a being with a soul. So the dumb creature, the poor creature could not speak, and it was he loved the old couple very much, like a being with a soul, as if he's a little child who is very emotional. So the dog was very emotional towards the couple. He loved them very much. The old man, being a rice farmer, went daily with hoe or spade into the fields, working hard from morning until Otentosama, as the sun is called. They call the sun in their language Otentosama. So, Otentosama is the sun until the sun had gone down behind the hills. So, he was a rice farmer, and so all day he would work, and he would go out with a hoe. Hoe is like a wooden spade. It's a two-forked. It's like a fork, and it has two forks there. So it is a two-forked little spade, and he went out with it, and he worked very hard in the fields, and he came down only at sundown. He came home. Every day the dog followed him to work, never once harming the white heron that walked in the footsteps of the old man to pick up the worms. So the dog was a very quiet little dog, a docile dog. It was not at all fierce, and it would let the heron pick up the worms. Herons are those small little birds that stand in the water, with their one foot up, one leg up. They stand. Those are herons. So the herons would stand there and they would eat worms. They would pick worms where the old man was standing, and he never chased them away like all the other dogs did. For the old fellow was patient and kind to everything that had life, and often turned up a sod on purpose to give food to the birds. So, what did he do? The old man was so kind to all the living creatures that he turned up the sod means he turned the little, he dug up the earth on his in the fields so that the birds could have worms from the, so he would do that on purpose, that is intentionally, knowingly he would do that. One day the dog came running to him, putting his paws against his legs and motioning with his head to some spot behind. So the dog was motioning. He came up and he put his paws against the man's legs and he was trying to tell the man something, that something was behind him. The old man at first thought his pet was only playing and did not mind it. So the old man thought he was in a playful mood, that the dog he just wants to play, and he didn't pay attention to the dog. But the dog kept on whining and running to and fro for some minutes. So the dog kept on whining. Whining is making that crying sound. And he ran from here and there to and fro to that place and to him. He kept on running. Then the old man followed the dog a few yards to a place where the animal began a lively scratching. So he went and he followed the dog, and the dog started scratching something very fast. And he was scratching, he saw that. Thinking it was possibly a buried bone or bit of fish, the old man struck his hoe in the earth. So the old man thought that there is a bone or a fish that is buried in there. So he put his hoe, like that forked spade. He dug up the earth. When lo, a pile of gold gleamed before him. And see, lo means, oh look, there was a pile of gold there. See that the dog has helped him find a pile of gold, and it was gleamed means it shone there, it was shining there, a pile of gold. Thus, in an hour, the old couple were made rich. In an hour's time, they became rich. The good souls bought a piece of land, made a feast for their friends, and gave plentifully to the poor neighbors. So the old couple, they had become rich, but they were very good souls, they were very good people. And what did they do? They bought a piece of land, they made a feast, means they had a big dinner for their neighbors, invited them all to have dinner, and gave plentifully to the poor neighbors. They were so kind. They had struck gold, but they never forgot their friends, their poor friends, and so they gave a lot to their poor neighbors, and they shared their wealth with them. As for the dog, they petted him till they nearly smothered him with kindness. As for the dog, they just petted him. Just petted means just stroked them with their hands, and they would stroke him all the time, and they smothered him. Smother means when you cannot breathe. They just showered all their love and kindness on the dog. Now in the same village there lived a wicked old man and his wife, not a bit sensitive and kind, who had always kicked and scolded all dogs whenever they passed their house. There was another couple there, but they were the opposite. They were very wicked, they were unkind, they were very insensitive. And what they did, they would always scold the dogs, and they would kick the dogs whenever dogs came near them or past their house. Hearing of their neighbor's good luck, they coaxed the dog into their garden and set before him bits of fish and other dainties, hoping he would find treasure for them. So now they had heard about their dog, so they took the dog to their house, and they put the dog into their garden, and they gave him the tidbits of fish, and other dainties. Other dainties means other tasty foods, other snacks, hoping that he would find them also some treasure. But the dog, being afraid of the cruel pair, would neither eat nor move. But the dog knew that they were cruel people, and he did not eat, neither did he move. Then they dragged him out of doors, taking a spade and hoe with them. So they took a spade and hoe with them, with the which they dig the ground. No sooner had the dog got near a pine tree growing in the garden than he began to paw and scratch the ground, as if a mighty treasure lay beneath. So now, as soon as they reached a tree, a pine tree, it was growing in the garden, he started scratching the ground, um, and they, as if there is a mighty treasure in there. "Quick, wife, hand me the spade and hoe," cried the greedy old fool as he danced with joy. Now, the greedy old fool, that man, he danced with joy. He thought, oh, there's a lot of gold in there. Then the covetous old fellow with a spade and the old crone with a hoe began to dig. Now, that covetous old man, covetous means the greedy old man. Covetous means you are covetous when you are greedy. So, the greedy old man and the old crone and that woman, that old man's wife. Crone is a derogatory term, that is a disrespectful word. So that old woman, they came with hoe, and they all both began to dig and dig and dig. But there was nothing but a dead kitten, the smell of which made them drop their tools and shut their noses. It was a dead kitten, and it was so smelly that they dropped their tools and they had to cover their noses. Furious at the dog, the old man kicked and beat him to death, and the old woman finished the work by nearly chopping off his head with the sharp hoe. Oh, they were so cruel. The old man was so angry that he kicked it and he beat the dog to death, and the old woman also finished the job by putting the hoe through the sharp hoe through his head, and he almost chopped off the head of the dog. They then flung him into the hole and heaped the earth over his carcass. Flung means they threw the body of the dog in a hole, and they covered the hole with the covered the body. The carcass is the dead body of the dog, and he covered it up with mud, lots of mud. The owner of the dog heard of the death of his pet, and mourning for him as if it had been his own child, went at night under the pine tree. Now the old man was so sad, so very sad. It was as if his own child had died, and he was crying, and he went under the pine tree. He set up his bamboo tubes on the ground, such as are used before tombs, in which he put fresh flowers. So, as it is their custom, they bring the bamboo tubes, and he set them on the ground, and they grow flowers. They put fresh flowers. They use them like a vase, the bamboo tubes, and they insert the fresh flowers in the bamboo tubes. So where the dog was buried, he took that and he put fresh flowers there. Then he laid a cup of water and a tray of food on the grave, and burned several costly sticks of incense. Costly sticks of incense, sweet smelling sticks. He burnt them there, and he put a cup of water and a tray of food, and he mourned a great while for his pet, calling him many dear names as if he were alive. So he sat there for a long time, and he called him many loving names, as he used to call him, as if he was still alive. And he was crying, and he mourned his death. Mourned means he was sorry for his death, and he cried for his dead dog. That night the spirit of the dog appeared to him in a dream, and said, "Cut down the pine tree over my grave, and make from it a mortar for your rice pastry, and a mill for your bean sauce." So said, okay. He was When he was sleeping that night, the dog appeared in the dream. The spirit of the dog appeared in the old man's dream, and he said, "There's a pine tree over my grave. Cut it down, and you make a mortar out of it, like a big bowl in which you can grind things. So you cut it out and make a mortar of it, and a mill, and for your rice bean sauce you can make that, like the Japanese people make a bean sauce." So the old man chopped down the tree next morning, and cut out the middle of the trunk, a section about 2 feet long. With great labor, partly by fire, partly by chisel, he scraped out a hollow place as big as a small bowl. Like a small bowl, He made the trunk of a tree like a bowl. He then made a long handled hammer of wood, such as is used for pounding rice. So like that big hammer, like we have in our country, your mothers keep um, in the kitchen when they want to beat a little bit of ginger to put in your tea or somewhere, and so you can crush them. So that's a mortar pestle. It is also called a pestle. So you can crush ginger, you can crush your spices in it. So like that, a little bowl, and then with a stick kind of a thing, you can pound on it, you can beat it. So he made something like that, long handled hammer of wood, such as is used for pounding rice. So they pound rice, they beat rice with that. When New Year's time drew near, he wished to make some rice pastry. So it is their custom to make rice pastry. So New Year came, and then they wanted to make rice pastry. When the rice was all boiled, Granny put it into the mortar, and the old man lifted his hammer to pound the mass into dough. So like they have to pound it. The boiled rice, they crush it, and so they put it in that mortar, and he started pounding. The old man lifted his hammer to pound the mass into a dough. So he wanted to make it like a dough. The blows fell heavy and fast till the pastry was all ready for baking. Now after this, the next step was baking. Suddenly the whole mass turned into a heap of gold coins. Suddenly that rice dough turned into a heap of gold coins. When the old woman took the hand mill and filling it with beans began to grind, gold dropped like rains, and it started dropping like rains. That rice dough began turned into gold, little pieces of gold. Meanwhile, the envious neighbor peeped in at the window when the boiled beans were being ground. So when the boiled beans were being ground, then also he peeped, that envious, that is the jealous neighbor. Goody me, cried the old hag. That old hag. Old hag is like the witch. A hag is a witch. That old woman, the witch like woman, she said, Goody me, as she saw each dripping of sauce turning into yellow gold. That beans that the woman was grinding, they had turned into pieces of gold. And she said that sauce is turning into yellow gold, until in a few minutes the tub under the mill was full of shining mass of gold. So there was lots of gold there. So the old couple were rich again. Again they became rich. The next day the stingy, wicked neighbor came and borrowed the mortar and magic mill. So next day, that stingy is miserly, someone who's not uh, miserly means when you don't want to spend money. So that is miserly or stingy. So that man came and he borrowed, and he said, I want this. Can we borrow this? So the old people were so kind, so they gave them the mortar, the magic mortar and magic mill. They filled one with boiled rice and the other with beans. Then the old man began to pound and the woman to grind. But at the first blow and turn, the pastry and sauce turned into a foul mass of worms. So instead of turning into gold, their rice turned into worms. All worms started going here and there. Still more angry at this, they chopped the mill into pieces to use as firewood. See, they were so angry that they chopped the wood and they turned it into firewood. So this is the first part, and we will continue in the next class. Keep reading this part, and you need to become familiar with some words, so you can practice speaking those words like stingy or pounding. Then the next word you can say is mortar and flung. Flung means threw. Carcass. How do you say? You say carcass. That is the dead body. Then covetous. Covetous means greedy. Crone. Crone means the old woman. Then dainties. Dainties means tasty food. Or coaxed. Coaxed means persuaded or trying to tell or to make them do something. That is persuaded, persuasion. Then another word on the left is gleamed. Gleamed means shone or turned up on purpose. Turned up here means dug up. So he dug up. He turned up the sod means he dug up the earth. Then a being with a soul means someone who has emotion, who shows emotion. Snug. Snug means comfortable. And daimyos, as it was said, daimyos is they are the 19th century wealthy landowners in Japan. So this is the first part. We will continue in the next class. Thank you.